arcade gamers, and welcome back to BiggggyD's Arcade. Today we're going to do a short recap of the Arcade1up 1Update live stream that just happened on the official Arcade1up YouTube channel. It was kind of short notice, but I saw the advertisement for it about 15 minutes before it went live, and I had posted that in Facebook and Reddit and just kind of shared it with whoever I knew. That way we could all join and comment and hear it live. But I took notes throughout the entire live stream. That way we can recap on this video. And this is just a quick recap video. There wasn't much, done. I'm just going on screen here, making the video, giving you my raw opinion and thoughts on what I think is happening and what we heard today. There's no editing, magic, or anything like that behind this video. It's just me giving my opinion and unedited video. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It just concluded probably about an hour ago. I just took my dog for a walk and I'm getting back settled down here to where I can make this video. So I'm going to start with who was involved in this live stream. So it was Travis MCP and David McIntosh. David McIntosh is the Vice President of Retail Marketing at Arcade1up. He did say he only wanted a select group from Arcade1up to be doing any type of interviews or YouTube content or, being the face of the company he wanted. And what it sounds like is Arcade1up only wants certain individuals in those positions. And he said that Cyrus, himself, and John D are going to be those three. So those are probably going to be the only people we as the customers or the community see from Arcade1up in any type of interview or Q&A. Now, he did start off this live stream basically saying they failed to communicate and it continues to be a challenge. We know this. We've been talking about it ever since Blitz and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 last year about the poor communication and getting new product announcements and information to us and in an effective and timely way. That's just been a problem he reiterated they've been having. And it's something that he wants to find a solution to. He wants to find a path to finding a better way to communicate with us, the customers. And he wants to hold individuals and the company accountable for, making sure this is done. And done on a routine basis, giving us updates on a routine basis. So what it sounds like is this 1UP update show is going to happen monthly. So iArcade will do theirs, sometimes weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. Just kind of depends on the news. It sounds like 1UP or Arcade1up update is going to at least make the commitment to doing this at least once a month. So we got our February, we'll get our March, April, and so on. And he wants to explore, new products in these announcements and in these live streams, in what they're working on, and just give us more clarity into where they're at in their process on certain things. We started off some questioning where I guess Travis MCP had already had questions written up, ready to go to ask him. And the first one was about the pinball. So I think we kind of already knew the answer to this. I've covered this in previous live streams and videos, so have other content creators in this space. But it sounds like pinball is going to just stay the same as what we've been seeing. So the Attack from Mars behind me, your Star Wars, and your Marvel pinball tables are going to continue, it sounds like. They're going to be a high price tag. He was talking $800-900. So the price just keeps going up. But they're not going to have any new products because with chip shortages and the cost to make these pinball machines, it's just not a good time right now with the economy and the way things that are right now. So they are stating that we're not going to get any new pinball tables. Now, the next question was about the renders not matching the products. And a good example with that would be the Star Wars re-release we just saw. With that Star Wars re-release, the render didn't match. And we've seen other instances like this where they weren't exact. And, he asked this question, and he kind of explained it this way. He said, if you were to take the last 4 years and the amount of cabinets that Arcade1up has sold over the last 4 years, that would be more than the 80s and 90s arcade games. The amount of arcades manufactured in the 80s and the 90s combined. So they've produced and sold more arcade cabinets than you can collectively say were made in the 80s and 90s. Now, I don't know if that is a for sure stat that we can back up with some, actual facts and evidence to prove that. But he did state it, and, we'll just have to go with that for now until someone can prove otherwise. I do know that they're in the millions now of cabinets sold, so I guess we'd have to do some research to find out how many cabinets total were produced between 1980 and 2000. He said that 2 to 3 new product releases a year. So we started getting into the really important information after this, where the most interest lies is in, new products for the most part. And what I've seen the most enthusiasm and interest in the community is what's next. In my video I did about 2 or 3 weeks ago, almost 3,000 views. And that was the title, What's Next from Arcade1up. And that is a popular subject. That is a subject that everyone is interested in, because everyone wants to give their input on what they want to see. And they want to also be a part of that process of being part of the new release, right? We can say, oh, they made Afterburner. Well, I helped push for Afterburner. So you played a part in that cabinet getting made. And John D has also in the past said that the community plays a large part in the new releases and what we see, because the enthusiasm and interest in a particular title is the one they want to most, obviously go with. Now, he did say with the Pac-Man that it does drive retail sales. So there is no way for them to discontinue or quit making Pac-Man cabinets. It's just not going to feasibly make sense for them financially. The retailers, that's what they want. That's what they sell to those people out there that don't have large home arcades. They're buying their first or their second one. They have those memories of Pac-Man. They know what it is. And also the retailers that make these decisions know what Pac-Man is. So it's an easy sell for them. But they did say that another thing to keep in mind is that they own 90% of retro products in this space. So if you look at all the competitors and all these like retro products that the YouTube channels in this space are covering, 90% of what is owned in this space is an Arcade1up product. And they own 90% of the licenses. So I think we could pretty much say that and see that most of the major licenses and games that we remember, the most popular ones, Arcade1up does have most of those licenses. And they are reassessing the Pro Series. So that was an important point he wanted to say. Like I had said in my walk and talk this week, Arcade1up was going to be reassessing and reevaluating different parts of the company. And it sounds like we got some evidence of that in this interview today. He said that they are focusing that reassessment on the Pro Series of cabinets, which we've only seen the Killer Instinct Pro so far. He did say the deluxe cabinets, so the Pac-Man Class of 81 and also the MK2 Deluxe are $500. I still don't want to think that they're going to stick with the $500 on MK2 Deluxe because they didn't specifically say that. I think they could still add another $100 on top of that price tag. But we can say 500 is what they're aiming for. That's what they want to be at, is 500. He also said the Walmart riserless cabinets, which we see in stores at Walmart, are going to remain around $299. And he said we should be seeing the deluxe cabinets in stores within about a month or two. So 30 to 60 days, we should see the Pac-Man Deluxe cabinets, Class of 81, and the MK2 Deluxe. And he said that they are working on a new release, which will be an XL cabinet, and that's going to be released at the latest holiday. So Christmas time would be the absolute latest this year we would see a new XL cabinet. He did not say which XL that will be. Now, the next subject they got into was the monitor gate. Monitor gate has been a problem, for many out there. And Travis MCP even mentioned that a lot of the YouTube channels are focused on anytime there's a new release, what monitor are we getting? Are we getting the BOE or are we getting the TN? And he said that we can't say for sure that every cabinet out there is going to have a BOE monitor. We just can't do it because he says 10% of the monitors that they source are going to be these TN monitors. They cannot guarantee that they're going to get an IPS or a BOE screen. BOE is the brand, IPS is the technology, and they can't guarantee they're going to get either one of those. We may still be getting the poor lighting TN monitors on about 10% of the amount of monitors they source. And they said that they do have the option to delay releases if they're unable to source the correct monitor or the one they think we want. And he did say three or more machines care about the screen. So this was an interesting thing that he said. So he said, like, for instance, behind me, I have 5 total Arcade1up cabinets or pinball, whatever you want to call it. He said anyone that has more than 3 is going to fall into a different category. It's going to fall into a category in which we care about the monitor. We care about whether it's a TN or a BOE or IPS screen. He said anyone with 3 or less, so we'll say 1 or 2 cabinets, they found in their research and their market research that it does not matter which monitor they put in there. So they think like in what Travis MCP said is that would be like your Pac-Man cabinets, because those are typically like your first-time buyers or second-time buyers are getting those cabinets, and we can put those lesser monitors or the ones that people don't want in those low-demand cabinets or low demand for people that own 3 or more. So hopefully that made sense to everyone out there. And then higher demand equals better screen. That was a note I took. So higher demand equals better screen. That makes it pretty simple to understand. Now, they got into Marvel versus Capcom 2, which this is an extremely touchy subject, of course. He said they are prioritizing the new releases. Their top priority right now, however, even above new releases, is going to be Marvel versus Capcom 2 Online. It's all hands on deck right now to get this Marvel vs. Capcom 2 update out to the customers so they can play this game online. It's currently in beta testing right now, which we probably knew that ahead of the stream today, but we got confirmation of it. And it sounds like Travis is a beta tester. He is part of that program. So as he's asking questions and providing information to the community, no, he's part of that beta testing program. So he's getting that hands-on with this game online. And they have the option. They can ship a cabinet without Wi-Fi and update it later on with Wi-Fi. And that's the decision they made. They said that that's sometimes a hard call. But he did say that, that's the decision they made with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But they can also hold a product until the update or the online is ready. And it sounded like to me he wasn't fully ready to make that commitment yet to that being ready prior to launch. But that is something that they take into consideration when they make a new cabinet. Also, KI Pro. So we got a couple more subjects here to cover. KI Pro was asked about, and he said they didn't really have the infrastructure to make a $1,000 cabinet. Like I'd said in previous videos, they were way in over their heads. And he confirmed it for us in this live stream. So that's something they're aware of and that they want to make sure that they know going into another Pro is that they need to have the infrastructure in place and the decision making already in place to make sure that these products are worth the money that we're paying. Also, he said focused groups are going to be part of the future. So this is something I personally would like to be involved in. I know many out there would. And he did say that focus groups are going to be happening in the future, and he'll let us know how we can apply for that and become a candidate. But DMAC personally said, so DMAC is David McIntosh, Arcade1up Vice President of Retail Marketing. He said, quote, "I'm sorry, quote, I let everyone down." So they're aware of their mistakes. They're working on them and trying to not just acknowledge them, but fix them. And then he's wanting to explore, which I thought was really interesting. He's wanting to explore the commercial side of sales. So when we go to the arcade to play an arcade machine, that's a commercial arcade unit, right? And that's what Arcade1up is looking into, is potentially making a large enough Arcade1up potentially that they could put it in a real arcade and it make money for that arcade. And I thought that was a really interesting. I'm wanting to get more detail on what that's all about, but it sounds like they're in the very early stages, and we may be hearing about some of that in the future if they decide to go that route. And then also, this is the last subject we got here, which was the leaks. And he basically said, so we get the Miami leaks, right? And we get like Time Crisis, for instance, or Root Beer Tapper, or Sonic the Hedgehog, or some of these reskins to like NBA Jam and things like that. He said that goes two different ways. It's either an oh crap, or, well, let's see what the interest is. So it's either it was a mistake that the leak got out, and that was a bad thing that happened. It hurts the company. Or the leak gets out and it helps the company, because then they're able to gauge interest. They're able to gauge what they don't like about these cabinets or these prototypes, and then make those changes prior to the release. So he said it could go either way. It's a double-edged sword. Don't know what you're going to get when you release a leak or it gets out. But he did say that when it is a negative thing is when they have retailers and they're trying to reach agreements with certain retailers, and a leak gets out, and I'm assuming that when that leak gets out, they see the negative or the criticism of those cabinets and the things that they don't like about them, and then that leads to possible negotiations breaking down, and then they don't get the agreement, or they don't get the contract that they wanted, and that ends up hurting the pocketbook of Arcade1up. So they have to be careful with their leaks. They need to make sure that if anything does get out, that it is something that they want out there, is basically what he's saying. There's too much potential for that to hurt the company as a result of that leak. So they're going to probably be more careful about that in the future, is what I'm assuming. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We're right at about 17 minutes on the recap here. I also gave some additional opinion on what I think is happening. If you guys have any comments, put them down below. Make sure to like, subscribe. I'll see everyone in the next video. Bye-bye.